and welcome to the Flickering Torch podcast, where I don't know how to operate Audacity, clearly. This is Mr. Dead Scott.
And Smythe.
I know, I'm surprised he's still here as well. No, I joke. We hung out last week, played some games, threw some dice, got this one to be enlightened in the ways of board dice game thingies more.
Dice games.
And I decided to keep him, although there's a lot of drinking involved, so there may be some sort of blood pact I'm not familiar with, or agreement with some sort of deity.
Now that you keep me, you have to feed me and take me out.
Oh, God. I gotta clean up after him. Co-host for sale. Real cheap. So welcome back, our one loyal listener. It's just you. You're so special to us. We are going to talk about quests. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not an original thought or idea. I kind of borrowed this / stole it from an author on Kotaku who she was proposing the concept of a breakdown of what a quest is and how to improve upon it. So I want to give her credit first. She hasn't produced the article yet, or really, I don't know how the progression is on it, but I figured it's something we should talk about as well and just kind of give our opinion.
Definitely. It's an important subject to do with any games, board games, card games, absolutely every single video game. So quests are important, and it's definitely something we should talk about.
Yep.
And we will right now.
In great length and detailed, and as per the Flickering Torch podcast motto, we are buzzed in the process.
Yeah.
Because we have clearly a problem. So let's talk about this down to the nitty gritty here. Let's define what a quest is.
All right. So I define a quest as a story-driven objective or goal, or in a lot of today's games, quests are basically filler tasks and objectives, not always story-driven. Some of them do have story, but the writing's so bad or it's so lacking. Can you really consider it story-driven?
In the very loosest terms.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be either or. I mean, it's basically a task or an objective, or maybe a goal you're working towards. Because some quests are a bit vague, but
and some are overly detailed.
Yeah. I know your definition of quest is different than mine.
Yeah, my definition, because I'm a nerd, I looked up what a quest is. Nerd. Nerd. Yep, that's me. So I looked it up online, and a quest, as vague as you can get it, is, defined as a long or arduous search for something. And so, from that,
like my shoes, man, in the morning.
I would say my keys for me.
Left shoe found.
Left shoe found. Quest achieved. Go to work.
Oh.
So yeah, that's kind of what I found for one. So like my definition of a quest, like personally, would probably be, just a goal that has been given to you by someone who is clearly too fucking lazy to do it themselves, or too old, depending on the circumstances. And it's usually something borderline suicidal.
Yeah.
In one form or another. And you can get 5 whole silver pieces, or we can retire our way of plundering and looting, because we're rich after that.
It's always some stingy rich dude giving you a stupid quest, and he just tosses money at you for doing something stupid.
Some form of money.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a copper piece. Yay! A penny.
I could afford moldy bread.
I'm gonna get a gumball, which I need for another quest, so I gotta save the gumball. Damn!
Oh,
This always happens.
Where are all the wolf teeth? Why are they all toothless?
God. We'll talk about that later on, because I swear I've encountered that before.
Oh, yes.
So let's give our initial thoughts on the actual breakdown of a quest. And so I'll kind of start, if that's okay.
Yep.
So a quest is, as we've said, a search for something or a goal or something. So we have the problem.
Yep.
So the quest is the problem that needs to be solved. Like, hey, we're overrun by teddy bears. They don't do anything. They just sit there, but we're overrun. There's way too fucking many of them. We're really scared. That one keeps looking at me in the kind of that provocative, hey, how's it going kind of look.
Conquered by fur day.
Little creepy.
Yeah.
So there's the problem. We have the teddy bears. And then from that, we need to get to the solution of removing or getting rid of the teddy bears. So, but the teddy bears aren't here. They're like totally across the world. over impassable mountains and swamps and oceans and tons of dangerous shit in the pathway. And good luck getting there. But we need them gone, totally gone. Just we don't care to do it.
Yeah.
So you have the problem, you have the solution, and you have to find a way to get there and solve and get to that solution. And so game developers have a really, they've been pretty good sometimes over the years of having a good system and options. Some are very linear. You get one way to do it and one way only. Others give you an option and a choice. Sometimes a very morally questionable one.
Yeah.
Where it kind of shatters your core a little bit or screws you up. I'm looking at you, Telltales, you beautiful, wonderful assholes. Some of those decisions made me cry.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm willing to admit it.
Mass Effect, they have some moral choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Star Wars games rely heavily on light side, dark side, so those are good morale. But there's always that middle. It's like you have here's your quest, here's the end, and then they have to make up all the middle, so they have to drive the story along the whole way. Unless it's the other type of quest, which is like fetch quest. There's no middle. It's just,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of see the breakdown of a quest: is the problem, the method to achieving the solution, and then the solution, which usually resolves the quest, resolves the story, resolves what have you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it. I don't know how your opinion is on it.
No, that's basically. It depends on what the quest is. Because there's definitely a breakdown of different types of quests, like objective tasks or self-motivated goals. You'd say like Dark Souls, someone kind of gives you the quest, but you're kind of self-motivated just to kill these scary, creepy things. And
is there really a quest in Dark Souls? I mean, there's a story, but it's
a goal. That's what I'm saying. It's basically the quest is kind of tied. Basically, a goal can be a quest in a sense, because you have a goal and it becomes your quest to finish it in a sense. So that one is that, it's a self-motivated kind of quest. And then you have the ones like you were saying, it's like here's the quest, here's the middle of all the crap you have to go through, like pitfalls, and then there's your golden statue at the end. And then there's the fetch kind of style quest where it's like, there's a ton of toothless wolves around me. Go find teeth, and it's just like A-B. There's no like middle content. Mm-hmm. So, I'd say I'd break down this quest basically. But those are the three kind of categories I would say.
Yeah. And so with that, what are quests in games? So we've kind of talked about that briefly already, but there's always the main story-driven quest.
There's always a main story.
Yep. There's always the main get you hooked, get you into it. From there are side quests, mini quests, sub quests, or whatever the hell you want to call it, that have the potential, and I feel like sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, to actually share a great deal of lore and story, have the opportunity to obviously give you a reward in one form or another. Loots, yay, loots.
Yeah, allow you to explore different areas that maybe the linear main story path doesn't take.
Yeah,
and a lot of developers, because some areas are hidden away and you don't know they're there, so they use side quests to kind of branch you off and make you want to explore more.
Yeah, I totally want to explore the creepy butcher's basement cellar.
Oh yeah,
that
totally.
Might have something unique in it, but has a ton of bloody hooks and a lot of corpses.
Oh yeah, totally explore that.
Yeah, totally.
In the dark, even.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I at least go in with a candle. Maybe I'm just a scaredy
How do you fight with a candle?
Real simple.
All right, don't breathe.
No, okay, put it down here. Yeah. You put it in the corner and you just fight with low light vision.
Yeah.
I got this. But yeah, so we typically see kind of stuff like that. Quests are, as you mentioned, a bit of filler.
Yeah.
They kind of are filler to kind of keep something between the combat, something between the storyline.
So I would say side quests are fillers.
Right.
The main quest, except for Skyrim, is never just a filler. I'll get more to that later, those Skyrim lovers. But mainly, side quests are just to allow you, to get rewards, better gear, or XP to kind of help you prepare for the main quest. Mm-hmm. They kind of treat each main quest mission is like a boss fight or a mini boss until you get to the end, which is the boss fight or
mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, the final boss, if you will.
That's how it seems. Is you have a straight path. You're given the quest, the middle ground to get to. the main boss. And then all the side quests are the little branches of the tree, basically. And that's how you help continue down the path, is by going down the branches, which would be the side quest.
So surprisingly enough, he used his arm to describe that,
Yes.
and had a knife in his hand, so I was a little worried for half a second. I'm kidding. But yeah, no, definitely. And so, with that, like, gosh, I lost my train of thought. I'm good at that.
It's all right.
So let's talk about some examples of, each of those kind of filler quests. So for example, like, my favorite one is the quest that talks a little bit about lore in that world that you're in, because, like, what's the point of doing said quest if it doesn't actually impact in one form or another what you're doing, or explain why the world's as fucked up as it is.
Yeah.
And I know, like, with Final Fantasies, their series have been pretty good about explaining stuff like that with their side quests. Sadly, sometimes the side quests get misconstrued and turned into, like, ultimate weapon or armor hunts.
Yeah.
Which, that's a different type of quest. But, I know with, like, Final Fantasy XIV, for example, the MMO, and MMOs do a pretty good job of making quests actually engaging and tell the story of the world. Some of the lore stories were absolutely awesome. It showed the conflict. It showed even the daily troll of things, or, whatnot. So it's like, hey, like, I'm short this week's supply of fish. My boss is going to fire me. Like, can you help me out? And, you go through the story and you find out, like, well, actually, what's really going on is the boss is making the dude's, load a little bit shorter intentionally to get rid of him. And so there's, like, a deeper little sub-story built into there to show the kind of the corruption of that area.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see stories that have, or side quests that have kind of a little bit of lore like that. Like, why is the town named, like, Pencil Eraser?
Yeah.
You'd
never guess it.
Because you'd never, like, oh, they probably got bored and named it or something. And you were saying something about, like, how Witcher 3 Wild Hunt does a good job of stuff like that.
That is the game for questing. That is, like, the perfect example in almost any case of doing quests correctly. For one, the different types of quests they do, like, the end goal for a quest is not only rewards, but building companionship, exploring, testing your limits, skills, and they kind of touch upon everything, which is great about it. But there's not one quest that isn't engaging. It's not just a fetch quest. I mean, you do fetch in some of them, like, you have to collect herbs, but they always have a good reason. Like, they give you a cinematic, like, oh, this person's dying of poisoning from the stupid creature attack or whatever. And so you go and fetch the flowers, and it's like, we really need to stop this monster because it stole our children now. And you're like, oh, shit, now I gotta go chop its head off. And it's like, they always give you a reason as to why everything's important. It's never just like, hey, go collect herbs. And we know you're, like, the one person that uses magic and carries a great sword, but you're an herb collector. Go fetch some flowers.
Yeah, congratulations, you're apprentice of botanist. Good luck.
So it's a perfect example of giving you great reasons and giving you very engaging social experiences. Like, you care about the people when you're doing it. Like, over time, when you do side quests, you start to love the characters. Even though they have nothing to do with the main story at times. Some do, some don't. They end up coming around in the end, but you end up loving the characters, and it makes the side quests so much more worth it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that game alone, it's hard to beat, and I think a lot of game companies should look up to The Witcher 3 for designing quests. Another good one would be, like, Star Wars, the Old Republic? The MMO. The MMO
Old Republic.
Yeah.
Which I tried to play and never really even installed it.
Main story is better than the side quest, but I would say the main quest is better than any of the side quests. But they do a good job engaging. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of text, which is great. I think to do quests well, you can't just throw text at people and be like, all right, you got the story, let's move on. Yeah, that's not engagement.
No, and that's the thing. Like, with quest development, and granted, back in the olden days, it was really hard to do. I totally get it. Like, all you had was a text option or very limited voice acting. Yeah. But I think voice acting has added a ton to the concept of a quest or story-driven things, because it really gives you an actor who's portraying a character who may actively be, quote, suffering in one form or another, and really giving you that empathy, that motivation, that feel to continue.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Witcher 3 does beautifully.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just as an example. I've never played it, just on the record for everybody. I wanted to, never got around to it. Maybe one day. You can scold me in the comments below.
I put like 70 hours and I haven't finished it. I put it off the side to get my life somewhat back.
Shame.
And then I haven't touched it. But another good one would be like Bastion. They use instead of using any text, they use the voiceover or the narrative to explain everything, which gives it the meaning and the depth of everything.
Bastion.
So, yeah.
Such a wonderful, beautiful game.
Yeah. So,
Bucket list.
Yeah, that's one of the, like, voiceovers, like, helped Quest tremendously. Like, it's not as much as a cinematic, you don't have to do as much, but just having that voice there to show the emotion of the character. Because, you've text someone and it actually came out way meaner than you intended to, or something stupid. And you're like, oh, man, that's totally not what I meant. I meant sarcasm or something.
You and I do that daily.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, he's such a jerk.
I am. But those are good examples. So have we touched on the type of quest though?
No, let's jump into that. So we're gonna go into some examples of the types of quests you see a majority of the time, and I took the liberty of adding a little bit of jokingly humor to some of these. So I'll start off with the main story-driven quest. Such as the bigger goal or requirement. And the example I use for that is, save our kingdom good heroes from the large-eyed bunnies. They are coming to claim our carrots.
Yeah.
We need to keep our carrots. So that one's pretty self-explanatory.
Carrot cake is important.
See?
Just saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory main story quest, the reason you're playing said game or engaging in said scenario or rolling dice on a table.
Yeah. Usually what the whole world is based around, the whole theme of whatever you're doing. It's usually the main story. I don't know. Is there any game that's just basically side quests? I mean...
I don't think you could do a game that was just side quests. I mean, there's always some sort of greater goal in one form or another.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's incredibly stupidly vague. Looking at you, Legend of Legacy.
I get people create their own main quest too. Like a lot of those just dungeon run style or roguelites. Sometimes you just create your own quest, I guess. But moving on to fetch quests. That's totally how MMOs are built, is fetch quests. And by golly,
God, fetch quests.
It's annoying because you start out. Let's just say, because I'm an Alliance fan, you start out, your first quest.
Well, we lost half our viewers, which was like 2, so...
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, you start out, and it's like, you go collect these freaking coyote teeth. And so you go and beat 20 coyotes, and none of them have teeth. There's absolutely no teeth on any of the animals. And it's like... What the hell? This doesn't make any logical sense, but you have to go fetch these items for crap gear. So fetch quests usually just go here, grab this, come back. That's all your goal. You're basically delivery boy, but more like pickup. Well,
you're like murderer, collector, gatherer, delivery bitch.
Yeah. So they're the content that fills most games and specifically MMOs. But they're the least engaging, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Totally filler. I mean, fits the definition of filler.
Yeah. And then we got rescue quests.
Oh, God, rescue quests. These are kind of my bane at times. Rescue quests, like, hey, we need you to, like, dear hero, you're not going to believe this. Like, someone stole my sister's kid's best friend's next door maid. And their house is totally a fucking nightmare. Like, you gotta go save them, but, like, if you don't get there next 20 minutes, and by the way, they're across the world, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, we're totally screwed. Okay, sure. By the way, there's a clock ticking right now. We've wasted 5 minutes.
Magical clock above your head.
Great. Wonderful. So those are pretty self-explanatory. Go rescue this person from imminent doom.
Yeah.
You don't get there in time. Sometimes it's a reset. Other times they actually punish you. Which is kind of cool to see, because in the real world, if the kidnappers say, we need the money by 12, otherwise they're dead, they're probably dead by 12.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but the problem with, for one, rescue quests or escort quests, and having a negative impact is they forgot to tell you that the person you're rescuing is so dumb.
Yeah.
God, because the AI is so ridiculous.
We'll
It's
get
like,
into that with escorts.
yeah, but that's kind of rescue quests, except not all rescue quests do you have to escort them back, thankfully.
Right.
Some you do, so that's where the tie-in is. But luckily, a lot of games like to go rescue this, go into this dungeon, at least clear one path, save the person with a click or two, and then they'll suddenly just walk out of there nonchalantly.
That drives me nuts, though. It's like, if they were in that position and they could, quote, get out just fine with still potential danger in the area, why didn't they do that earlier?
Yeah, right? Just slip away or something.
That goes with my, like, Princess Peach or Zelda theory. Like, I'm sorry, those ladies know how to handle themselves pretty damn well.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they want to be captured.
Yeah.
Different tangent. We'll get into that maybe one day. But yeah,
I completely agree.
I don't get that with the rescue quests. Like, oh, thank you for saving me. I'm just going to walk out the front door where there's, like, possibly a dragon just chilling around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to be fine? Yeah, totally, I got this.
That comes into the quality of quests too, where is it just filler, or do they actually kind of put a sense of realism into them as why you're fetching them? And most of them are filler because they're just stupid like that, and it doesn't make sense why you're rescuing them.
Yeah, I mean, some rescue quests are tied into the story, so they become the quest giver once you rescue them, and so that's kind of cool, because it gives you a reason and a purpose. Like, yeah, totally. If I let her die, I wouldn't have access to the quest that gives me, progression in the story.
Yeah.
Like, because, hey, turns out she's the head of the Thief Guild, and I totally needed her to help break in and steal an item that someone else had stolen originally.
Yeah. So they can narrow your path if you don't do those.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it. But a lot of fillers.
Yeah. So the next one is, like, the ultimate side quest, is how I would describe it. It is the treasure hunt style. Like, hey, dude, you're not going to believe this, man. Like, I heard this rumor. There's this really cool shiny thing in this forest of doom and certain pain. Or, like, the second you walk in, you lose, like, half your level, your HP, your health, half your money. Your genitalia starts to fail. You go dumb, deaf, blind, stupid, the whole 9 yards. But, dude, the ultimate weapon, I heard rumors, it's totally in there. Totally in there.
And they're always right.
And for some reason, they're always right.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing.
It's funny. It's how it's like the most dangerous places in the world, yet the crappy NPCs that don't do anything always know where the items are. It's like, I had a friend, Larry. He went in there and he never come back.
Dunn never seen him.
Yeah,
poor Larry.
But we heard rumors there was a sword in there. Yeah,
we keep a candlelight vigil for him every other week. Good old Larry.
That drives me like nuts. I love treasure hunt style too.
Who doesn't love loot?
But yeah, I wish they were kind of like more vague on it, and less more descriptive on what's in there, because I like sense of realism when it comes to, like, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons. You're never just given all the details. You actually have to work to kind of get the rumors and use your skills. But a lot of games these days are like, oh yeah, that epic sword's right there. Yeah, we just haven't grabbed it. We're too busy. You know, just got to kill, like, a wyvern. No big deal.
Yeah, we thought about it, but, the harvest is coming, and I'm tired already.
Yeah.
You can get it if you want. Like, I don't know how to use the damn thing anyway.
Yeah. Is that your favorite, though, this treasure?
It is one of my favorites. Yeah. And it's probably one of my favorites just because, like, some games do it really well. Some games do it great. And they do it to where, like, and I'm going to give, like, The Legend of Zelda a concept on that, like a little shout out, because, like, let's talk about Link to the Past here.
Yeah.
By far, in my opinion, one of the best Zelda games ever made.
I would argue the same.
There's talk of the Master Sword. They talk about that thing in the Lost Woods.
Yep.
It's there. It exists. You can get to it. You can't pull it right away, but it's there.
Yeah.
So there is this godly, wonderful, beautiful piece of gear that is essential to the story. I'll give it credit for that. However, it is a helpful item down the road that you are questing to achieve and get, and you can actually acquire it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little dangerous to go in there when you're not ready for it. And you do have to have the sub materials ahead of time to get it, but that's kind of a good example of a good treasure style quest. Like, they talk about it. Everybody knows what the Master Sword is. It's passed down through legend. But, you know, they're like, oh yeah, like, it's in the woods. We don't know where. It's there, though.
That's almost like a side quest to a main quest.
Right.
Like, it's a main quest, but it's also a side quest. Like, to complete the main quest, you have to get the Master Sword. But the Master Sword is so important to the main quest. It's like they're tied in. So it's hard to say. It's kind of like you branch off, but it's still the main quest.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda's amazing at it because they drop hints all around the world that you need these different types of items to access these areas. And whenever you go into a dungeon, you know that you're going to get an item, and you want to go to that dungeon and complete it to get that item.
Oh, yeah.
To go about the world and finish exploring. Because let's admit, exploring and getting those hard pieces is fabulous.
It is pretty damn wonderful.
The dungeons, like water dungeons, can kind of go to hell.
Oh my god.
But getting those items and exploring the world, it's like you'll sacrifice and just die over and over again to get those items. So that's kind of like a treasure hunt. It's like, those items are going to be there. NPCs will drop lines. The world kind of hints that there's items you need to get, and you're going to go fetching for it. You might not know exactly where, except some of the NPCs, like the Deku Tree, will be like, oh yeah, it's
totally that way.
Oh yeah, I'm all knowing. It's, we told Ganon the same thing. No big deal.
He was the bad guy. My bad. Yeah. Crap. No, yeah, totally. Quick side note, like, what the hell is it with Nintendo and water dungeons and making them god-awful impossible at times?
Yeah. I hate water dungeons.
And off-side note. Okay, so next type of common quest you would typically see.
Bounty quest. Bounty quest, to put it easily, would be there's a billboard or wallboard or whatever, bounty board you want to call it, said X bandit needs to be slaughtered, you'll get this reward.
Ooh.
And sometimes there's story, other times there's not. I mean, some of them are just like, yo, he's a bad guy. Just go stab him real quick, eh?
Canadian, huh?
Yeah. And other times there's actually there's other like texts be like, oh yeah, this guy totally loots us all the time. You need to go. He destroys their village. You're like, oh cool. I'll go slaughter him. Typically, these actually have high rewards usually because like the bounty quests are not easy. They're like the bounty quests are typically harder groups compared to the minion or trash mobs that you come across. So they're elites or
the dragon.
Yeah, at times. Yeah, some of the RPGs get into really big, like the higher levels.
Big bounties, yeah.
Which could go into raid bosses and
raiding.
So I think it's probably one of my favorite just because it gives me the challenge, and usually there's something rewarding. It's not like fetch quests where like, I've come here. Yeah. It's like you actually got like an epic sword because this guy was a total badass and you.
Well, yeah, and like think of it like D&D, like where you encounter quote the boss for the night or the mini boss for the night, and there may be a bounty on their head. Yeah. Like I played a campaign a long time ago where like there was this dude who was like robbing people and shit, and we as a group managed to successfully kill him, but there was a bounty on his head as well that some previous adventures that we ran into told us about. And, he's worth more alive than dead, but my group being special, decided to cut his fucking head off and get get a discounted bounty rate for it. Yeah. Which I wanted to take him in alive, but everybody complained that it'd be such a nightmare, and, democracy sometimes doesn't always work, and I lost out. Which, cool, whatevs,
It's true, you got a bounty for a reason, so,
Yeah, they are dangerous.
Plus, then you got to deal with running off and feeding them. I mean, you don't have to.
You don't
then
have
your
to
morals are, tested then too. So it's just like,
what's that?
I dropped my claymore. Thing's so heavy. Whoops.
Yeah.
All right. Job's done.
But yeah, usually like when you capture, defeat, do what have you, like there's usually some sort of piece of gear that made them a bounty.
Yeah, that's what I love. Is it's a good reason to get good rewards.
Yeah. Well, and believable rewards too.
Yeah.
Not just like, hey, milk 10 cows for me, and like here's the Sword of Doom.
It's like
Why do you have the Sword of Doom?
Yeah, I can't remember. Is it the Dread Mines or the first basically Alliance dungeon? It's like level 19. You go in and you fight the bandit boss or whatever, and you would have good. It's the first like big huge bounty. You're gonna go fight the freaking elite boss of this gang group, and it's a dungeon. But it's basically a bounty quest. It's go kill this, a-hole, and we'll give you this like epic. Or you get a chance for an epic drop, but we'll give you this decent one if you don't.
Yeah.
Because he may or may not always carry his super famous dagger, which is baloney. But
because he uses it all the time.
Yeah, it's like I saw him use it, and where'd it go? It's like, damn it, Steve, you took it again. So that goes on to gathering quests.
Which are essentially fetch quests in one form or another. Gathering quests, as you mentioned, with the Toothless Wolves, which, dude, they're old. I mean, don't hate.
Yeah.
They're just old wolves. Clearly, because that's the only logical response.
So they basically put like a retirement community of animals.
Yeah.
And you're just like, slaughter.
Oh, crap, I got the gumless one again. Where are these things? Dentures! Gather quest, like brave heroes. I'm out of dragon scale toilet paper. Please go slaughter 30 dragons for me.
You like it rough, eh?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Ezric the whatever, he's totally into that. But you kill the 30 dragons, you get maybe 10 pieces of toilet paper, you kill another 50 dragons, get another 5, and then when you execute the last dragon and commit total genocide, then you get the 30.
Yeah.
Which, hey, props. Quest complete.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you dick.
I feel like they're really stingy. Like, as a character, you collect all of them and you come back with 1,000 teeth, and then the quest giver is like, nope, nope. Maybe we'll put that one off the side, maybe. Nope. And you sit there for a half hour and he's like, yeah, none of these are good. You're like, they're all the same digital teeth.
So he's kind of an elitist about his teeth.
Yeah,
clearly, like, kind of the dick version of the tooth fairy.
Yeah. He's like, I want them to be all white teeth, no cavities. And they're like, they're coyotes.
Here, hang on, let me knock out your vision. Hey, they're all white.
Yeah, right. You're over there in the corner. Scrub.
The toothbrush of destiny.
Yeah.
And then my all-time personal tormenting aside from rescue is escort. Oh my god. And so escort, I'm sure some of you guys love it. Escort I wish was designed better, because most of the time the escort quest is one of two things. It's either the NPC sets its own pace in movement, ability, what have you, runs off into imminent danger.
Which is wrong. It never stops when it needs to.
Yeah, never stops when it needs to. Or you have to, quote, beckon it to follow you. Which is always hey, when you reach this certain distance, guess what? That 30-foot dragon that is magically hiding behind a palm tree that I didn't see in a desert just appears.
Yeah.
Which, clearly I'm blind, because I don't know how you could miss something that big. Details.
So for those two styles is the path, the guided path, and the follow companion. The two things to point out is the guided path. They always walk ahead into groups. You stop, and they're supposed to stop with you on the path. They're only supposed to stay in range, but they always aggro enemies. It's like, why don't they turn the aggro down? They can't defend themselves, obviously. And then B, with the...
it's like they're wearing meat on their, vests or something.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
Look at me!
Mr. Meeseeks.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks.
But the other style is... The fetch one is you tap that button, beckon them so many times, you're like, hey, and then...
listen!
Yeah, before too long you're navigating, you're just like, over here, listen, hey...
Jar the fairy.
You don't even get halfway through the sentence of whatever the developers or audio people so brilliantly decided to put in. You don't have it. You're just spamming it. You're like, just follow me already. They're like, it's a 2-inch rock. You can move around it.
Stop standing in the poisonous marsh. Move.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just had a flashback to that.
Whoever put escort quests in swamps or poisonous areas
needs to be shot.
Yeah, I want to kick them.
Or talk to sternly.
Yeah.
And sternly with a bat.
Yeah.
Or the customer appreciation bat, as I like to call it.
I'll have to keep that one.
Oh, I made one when I worked in the movie theaters. Side note, sorry. But yeah, it was made out of like straws that fell on the ground that were unusable and duct tape.
That's actually, duct tape makes it pretty solid.
Never had to pull it out, but it was always there for humor.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are kind of the main types of quests that we've always seen.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I researched. Those are the ones that we kind of found. Some games, again, do a brilliant job of actually turning those into wonderful, beautiful experiences.
Yeah, we pointed out the bad, but there are good.
Yeah, there's tons of good out there.
The escort quests, there are really good ones. I've had companions who act like in-game companions, not actually just like stupid NPCs, but some games actually have good companions that travel with you, and those escort quests suddenly become a decent companion. I'd say The Witcher is actually another good example. Mm-hmm. So that is a brilliant one that has escort quests, but they're good and bad.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the treasure hunt style quests, those are typically good for the most part, because if you make it through the damn quest, there's a reward at the end.
Yeah.
And it's usually a decent reward or a really good one.
If you fail on the treasure hunt or the bounty style, I'm saying you're probably doing the game a little bit wrong.
Probably, yeah. You're not either grasping the core concept, or you're clearly dicking around for the sake of dicking around. Mm-hmm. Which, whatever, that's your play style. We're not here to judge all the time.
And it doesn't have to be rewarding. Like, the bounty quests don't have to be rewarding to, like, developers. I mean, they just have to impact the story. Like, it's kind of a weird example, but like, oh, that guy's the rapey guy or whatever, and he keeps...
Where are you going with this, man?
Do bad things. If you go slaughter that SOB, you make our lives better and we don't have to live in fear. Like, impactful story. Like, oh, it doesn't have to be like, he stole our money all the time or all our potatoes. He's a potato hoarder, and it's like...
Maybe he just likes his potatoes.
Yeah.
Who are you to judge?
He was inventor of French fries. But there goes the invention because we killed him.
Well, you killed him.
Well...
I got fat first, died of heart disease, and then someone killed him, namely you.
Son of a bitch, me.
Yeah.
So, why are these quests so common?
Well, I mean, these quests are common because, let's face it, they're really easy to implement, for starters.
Yeah.
They're a great way to add context, a great way to add story, a great way to add, quote, filler.
Yep.
And I hate using the word filler, to be honest with you. However, there's really no other way to describe it.
Yeah, no, it's... MMOs are fillers. A lot of RPGs are fillers. As much as, like... RPGs are a little bit easier because the game should be story-driven. You usually don't have to worry about how each player perceives the quest or imagines it. You set one story and people enjoy it or they don't. So it's easier that way, but
and so along the same lines of ease, it's something we're familiar with.
Yeah.
Like whenever you encountered your first quest style game or quest style scenario or whatever, there have always been kind of these introductory quests.
Yeah.
There's always, the gathering quest is a great example of that. Like, hey, like, go gather these, like, 13 candles for me, that you're going to acquire from the candle makers who have all gone insane from huffing their own candles.
Yeah. See, if the gathering quest, kind of a side note, would make sense. Like, go gather these 12 candles. Well, maybe your character started as a candle maker.
13.
Is it... Or 13. Yeah. Is it hard to start your character out in a candle shop as a candle maker to make that quest make sense?
No, it's believable in that aspect. So gather quests have a point, fetch quests have a point, because, hey, let's face it, maybe like, the village elder who is old, wise, and super crotchety can't travel to the next town.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, like, he needs his prescription filled. Like, cool, I'll take it over. It's no big deal,
I'm
whatever.
A pharmacist, totally.
Yeah, I got this.
Did he say red flower or blue flower? I don't remember which
I thought it was green.
Oh.
Crap.
Oh,
Did that explain why he gargled when we left?
You got puking, diarrhea, and medicine.
I thought he died.
Ooh. Oh, job's done.
Yeah, we're good. 10 gold. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye, village. I'm never gonna see you again. Oh god, run faster. Yeah. Get the horses.
So ease of use, familiar. I mean, a lot of games you don't need explanation. A lot of MMOs too. You're given a quest. They give you a pointer. You're so familiar, you follow the pointer, and you know how to react to the situation you get there. You don't have to read the backstory.
Well, which is sad a little bit in that aspect, because there was a team that was developing lore. There was a team that was following that path.
Yeah.
There were actual human fucking beings like you and me, maybe a little smarter than you and me.
I wouldn't call us humans.
Oh, I thought we moved up on the scale.
Oh, did we?
Not details.
Oh, yeah.
But humans, air quotes here, who have developed this like beautiful little mini story, almost like a one-off, if you will, and actually gave it context, gave it love, gave it enrichment, gave it beauty, if you will. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just as guilty as this. I just clicked through that damn thing and it asked me where to go and what to do.
Blew through it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the limitations in hardware and like older games, like I did World of Warcraft, but due to the limitation, at the times it was perfect. It has great story if you actually read all the text, but there's a lot.
Yep.
But I mean, due to hardware limitations or budget, people have to cut out voiceovers and have to go with text. Unfortunately, because I mean, those really each little bit of detail ties in, like how engaging a quest is. But
yeah. I mean, it's sad. I mean, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on. It'd be great to actually see some sort of like improvement on that. But you pretty much named it right there. The core root of most of this kind of thing is deadlines and money.
Yeah,
and it's really
which is sad because limiting artistic,
creativity.
Creation, it's just. It's sad because if you can express yourself fully, games would be significant. But of course, there's always limited resources in them. So,
and some games again pull it off beautifully. I know we're focusing on the negative, but that's probably because we're both exhausted from the work week.
It's easy to point out the negative, though. I mean, it's where to improve. People have all came across something they've enjoyed. If you haven't, then you're probably not playing the right games. Because if the games are enjoyable in one aspect or another, you shouldn't probably play them.
Right. And so sadly, with that, we are starting to see kind of like standardized quests in games.
Yeah.
And, again, we understand there is a need for those quests that drive us nuts and bonkers. There's a need for the gathering quest. There's a need for that too. And, I wish that it wasn't such a standard to do those sorts of things like over and over and over and over again. And don't get me wrong, I don't have any good ideas on how to really change it too dramatically.
Yeah.
Aside from just making the story a little more engaging.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you explain the need to gather items for a potion other than, hey, I need to gather these items for a potion?
Well, I mean, to give them reason behind it.
Right.
It's like I said, The Witcher is a great example because they don't do anything that doesn't have a great reason behind it. They also do great artistic voiceovers and designs and different elements. It's a beautiful game, but they give you reason, and that's where people. I mean, rewards are one thing, but to make it a good game, there has to be a good reason to do each quest. So there's nothing wrong with having those elements. There's a point where there's too much, or too much consistently. I mean, you can space them out, and I don't think people would ever notice.
Oh no, probably not.
Because if you just throw a bunch of mixed quests in there, and then people, they don't have the same consistency, then they're not going to notice that every quest is a fetch quest.
Yeah, if you don't do like 13 gathering quests in a row, and then all of a sudden you give me something like an escort, obviously I'm going to be so damn bored and exhausted from fetch quests.
Yeah.
I'm not going to care about the escort, the storyline in it, because it's like, oh, it's probably just another fetch. Oh, hey, something different. Oh, crap. I can't reread the quest synopsis. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Yeah. That's why cinematics are important, because who skips a cinematic unless it's a linear campaign if you've played it before. And no one skips cinematics.
I would hope not, because one, the art that went into that and the creativity that went into that is absolutely beautiful and gorgeous most of the time. Even given its time frame, it still can be perfect.
And there are many amazing movies. God, I wish there was a movie that was like a lot of the cinematics, like Warcraft, instead of doing like a live action.
See, I never saw it, so.
You
can
I haven't either. I haven't either actually yet.
I thought you watched it.
But the reviews have been mixed. Instead of doing a live action, they should have just done an animated. I mean, have you seen their cinematic trailers? Insane, So those are engaging methods.
I mean, I know for like my birthday one year, I think when I was like 15, I convinced my parents to go watch Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
That was a good movie.
Which a lot of people give it a lot of shit, but I thought artistically it was beautiful for its time.
Yeah.
I mean, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
It is a great sci-fi story to it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. A lot of people gave it shit for it. Whatevs, we're not here to discuss that. Yeah. But that would be kind of cool to see that concept of, because you're right. When you see a cinematic, most people who enjoy those types of games will sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, even shooter games like Gears of War, when they had their cutscenes that were kind of cinematic-y in one form or another, they were real pretty.
Yeah.
And they told a necessary part of the story without you having to worry about not dying in the process.
Yeah, there are moments to give you background lore, story, progression without having to grind or work.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the classic one of that, spoilers. I'm going to totally rule a section of Gears of War 3, which you haven't played by now, whatever, where Dom sacrifices himself. I almost cried.
I cried.
You cried?
I cried.
I almost
twice.
cried. Oh.
Gears of War made me cry twice.
Yeah, I almost cried. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that game made me cry twice. I didn't cry at Dom's wife in Gears 2.
I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, about time.
He's like, you monster.
Well, no, it's like she's been suffering. You've been talking about it for 2 games. It's like you finally get her at the end. And it's like, oh, about time. I'm glad this quest is finally done. And it has less impact because it's like it was dragged on so long.
Right.
And you saw 1,000 dead bodies and corpses by then, so it's like...
Some of them you produced as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Gears 3, that quest, that's the only game that has ever made me cry.
Oh, I got plenty of games that make you cry, don't worry.
Yeah. No, see, I'll cry out of like animated movies like Up.
Don't talk about Up.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Up.
But Gears of War has made me cry twice.
No,
and I'll
man.
admit to the developers... Though, like, I can't wait till Gears 4. Like, I almost cried just watching the 20-minute intro gameplay when they covered, like, the history.
I still have to get around to that.
Oh, God. I wanted to cry. I'm like, I'm at work. I have to not cry.
I'm big. I'm brave. I'm strong. I need a tissue.
Marcus Phoenix. Gotta have that same attitude.
Okay, so it's enough tangenting here. Okay, so let's kind of explore this just a little bit here. We've talked about quests. We've gone into our personal feelings and opinions. I don't think we're gonna have a good answer for this, but how do we feel we can improve on these things? How do we feel quests can change for the better?
I'd say now that resources are growing and it's becoming more common, but like I said, voice acting, cinematics to engage, to change the pace of the game. Even if you don't, just narratives over at work, depending on how your game is played out. Give reasons, basically, as to why you're doing the quest. Otherwise, it's just like doing dishes at home. Oh, because I have to. If it's like, oh, I'm going to have like a party with a bunch of friends over, I'm more likely to do the dishes, right? Reasons motivate people. So there has to be motivation. I mean, depending on the game, like reward system, I like games with realism. So I like I don't like one boss to be like worth 40 freaking minions. I kind of like to be real. Like, I'd rather have a gang be all tough but well balanced compared to just one guy and a bunch of trash mobs. So I guess it's personal preference at that point, but I really do think cinematics and voiceover and reasons really drive quests, because you're supposed to make the person engaged and feel like Gears of War.
Right.
You make them love the characters. You kill one of them, you're gonna cry.
Don't talk about it, man. But so for me, like, the way I would see it is, I agree with what you had said. I want to take it a little bit step further, though. I think one of the things that would probably really help improve a quest, believe it or not, would be time. And not time in game, but time in the real world. Let these developers actually get what they're going to achieve across. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, and you guys will probably hate me for this, we gamers, we're fucking greedy.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
And it's been driving me nuts because the backlogs nowadays for your average casual player is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's always this push for the new game, the new style, the new Assassin's Creed 20. Like, why not give time in between? And I understand for a popularity franchise, money, because money drives the world.
Yeah.
But why not give these beautiful games time? Yeah. Like, so what was the time frame between Witcher 2 and Witcher 3? Just off the top of your head, even if it's wrong.
I would at least say 5, 6 years.
Okay. So that's a good chunk of time to get it right.
At least, yeah.
To do it right. And from what you've described and what other people described, it's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Look at the distance between Final Fantasies. Like, those games come out every couple of years because they try to get it right.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that as a quest in general, or quests in general, if developers actually had the time to fine or tweak the story, to really give it that love, that little attention, that necessary push that it needs, or that necessary time that it needs, they could produce a beautiful quest, one that's engaging and wonderful. And of course, like, why not throw a couple fillers in there just to kind of make it, balanced?
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes you want to pull people away just to give them a break, like we talked about. No, if you mention real life, yes. If you can give them time, because if you think about the Elder Scrolls, I mean, it's 5-6 years gap between each one at least. And Oblivion was absolutely amazing. Skyrim was okay, although the main quest had, you got to a certain point and then you're like, fuck, I'm ditching it, and then go exploring. So
are we gonna get into the Skyrim discussion now?
Yeah, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off right here, because I mean, let's admit, Skyrim didn't have a lot of depth in a lot of areas. It was kind of like rinse repeat. As for Oblivion, there was a huge gap between Morrowind. They did a lot of things right, and they carried it over to Oblivion, but they had to reduce the size, which people hammer on, but Oblivion's huge,
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah, and they have great, engaging quests and new areas to explore where they're all awe-inspiring, so they kind of do a mix. But that time led to a lot of great creation and creativity and imagination. The Witcher, I would say 6 years. Maybe more. I don't remember. I never played the second one. I played the first one.
I haven't played any of them, sadly.
But it could be less than that, but I would imagine more, because they've added so much content, or the devs are that good at their job. Which for as good as the game is, I'd say yes, it could be. Gears of War, they spent years between each one. They never hammered them out each year like a Call of Duty. Those stories through each one have built up over the years.
Well, see, and stuff like that's what turned me off of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Is like the original first 2.35 were really good. I liked the story. I liked where it was going. The only reason I played 3 was to finish Desmond's storyline, the main character of the main story.
Yeah.
Which, to my understanding, it still continues on. But I was so pissed off and burnt out after 3. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Well, you don't have enough time to pull your mind away. You want the story to continue, but you can't just make it all the same. You actually have to make it engaging to continue a story, to make it impactful. You can't just keep throwing the same thing out.
I just thought of this. That might almost actually tie in with the concept of binge watching, how that's become kind of our society's norm. Mm-hmm. We're like, I want everything all at once. I want all of it.
Yeah.
Don't give it to me in sections. Don't give it to me in episodes. I want fucking all of it right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not savor? Why not enjoy? Why not experience each opportunity like that? And shame on all of us. And hey, I'm just as guilty. I watched the Daredevil series as much as I could
Stranger
when it came
Things, out. I watched that whole first season. I mean, the episodes feed off each other.
Right.
But I binge watched it.
So is it Netflix's fault? Can we blame Netflix for this?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to throw them under the bus temporarily.
Yeah, dang it, Netflix.
Yeah, unless you give us free stuff, then different story.
Yeah, different stuff.
We're on board. You guys are great. Gotta get Netflix.
But that time, like binge watching, I'd say the need for it now. But what's weird is we're craving for AAA games when there's tons of
beautiful B and indie games.
Yeah, indie games. But we tie back to one of our conversations in the previous episode. Is the market's so saturated, it's hard to find those gems.
Yeah.
And Steam doesn't do a good job, and they're getting a lot of crap for it recently with different things going. But we're not going to go.
We're not going into that.
But I mean, it's hard to find those gems, and people have so many backlogs. Oh, I'll get to it eventually.
No.
If a creator said, no, we're going to take more time and do this, you'd be pushed more to go through your backlog, and you'd probably enjoy it better, and the anticipation for the game would be better. But anticipation also scares developers.
Yeah. Well, we all got to
like
eat.
No Man's Sky, the anticipation, the hype, it destroyed that game.
Sadly.
But The Division, too, if that took another year, I think would have been more of an amazing game.
Oh, yeah, I think it would have been great. And if my hands still work when it came out, that would have been great, too.
Yeah, that, too. Yeah, that's a whole nother...
Yeah, we won't get into that. They work now. Quest. They work sort of now.
But...
Yeah, side quest. So let's jump into kind of the last question. So real briefly, why are quests a good and a bad thing?
Yeah.
So quests are a good thing because they provide enrichment, they provide story, they provide items, they provide abilities, they provide body.
Yeah.
To the idea, to the story, to the wonderfulness. Why are they a bad thing? Because we are so damn overloaded with them, or we're so damn tired of gathering said wolf teeth.
Familiar, yeah.
Yeah, too much familiarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is no one's fault but our own.
Yeah. We need to give companies patience.
We need to give them time. We need to give them the ability.
Yeah.
To come up with something totally off the wall.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's 1,000 fantasy games, and of course they're gonna cross over, but you're gonna get familiarity no matter what. But
Right.
We need to give them time to make them less familiar.
What's the saying? Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's in a nutshell. We just got to give them time.
Yeah.
Is how I look at it. One little quick side one I thought would be kind of funny because we already know the answer. Could a game survive without any form of a quest? God, no.
There's always goals, and we didn't really touch upon this one, and I thought about it about mid podcast here, but there are quest systems that you uncover the quest as you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
We didn't really cover that.
Next episode. Well, not next episode, but eventually.
Yeah, we'll get more on quests, but you uncover quests as you go. And there's also shooters, which they have an objective. It's a vague quest, but
it's a quest.
Yeah. So could a game survive without a quest? I think not.
I don't think so either.
But if you can think of a game without a quest...
And give us a convincing argument.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to think, basically, our definitions, any objective or task, is a quest or a goal to complete something.
Yep.
I mean, but that's yours. Just give us a reason and an argument, and we'll be happy to read them.
To read, discuss, bullshit, drink more. Always a great excuse to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So the question for the podcast is, I thought this would be kind of fun for our loyal reviewer and listener. What was the most quest that you remember that had the most impact, that you loved, that you were absolutely, just... you can't say enough good things about. It was beautiful, it was wonderful, it was great, it was funny, what have you, whatever really drives that best quest for you. And then, of course, let's do the opposite end of that. What was the one that drove you to the edge of insanity, where you wanted to burn down the town and pretty much just pull your hair out and shoot yourself?
Oh, God, yeah, I don't remember mine.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about mine.
Yeah.
Maybe another time.
But yeah, there's too many in the middle for me to remember. But we'll get it next time. So leave your comments, your likes, your love, your hates, goodbye, your beer. I don't know.
Give us recommendations.
Netflix,
on beer.
We stick our neck out for you.
Yeah, we kind of dropped a name.
Yeah, and Nintendo. We mentioned Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo, give us free stuff.
Nice.
Sorry, Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, yep.
So with that, this is Mr. Dead Scott.
And Smythus, and... we'll see you guys, and thanks for watching. That includes you, Mom. See you on the next one.